Hello and welcome to our Sierra-Cedar session on transforming the student experience, leveraging Vocado Student Financial Planning. My name is Christopher Cameron. I'm Associate Vice President within Sierra-Cedar, and we are incredibly excited to have this conversation with y'all. The format for today, we've got three of our specialists that are working with student financial planning day in, day out, all the way from our executive leadership down through the folks that are actually working on our projects, hands in the system every day. And we hope you find this conversation beneficial. Essentially, we're going to be asking each of the specialists some questions. They're going to be responding, and then we'll have the opportunity for you to contact us with any questions that you might have. And thank you very much for your time.
Hello, I'm Jill Palla. I'm Associate Vice President at Sierra-Cedar's Oracle Higher Education practice. I've been in higher education for 35 years. I've been working with PeopleSoft for 22 years, and I've been with Sierra-Cedar for 21 years. Today, I'm hoping to share some of our experiences and our insight from our Vocado Oracle Student Financial Planning implementations. We currently have 4 projects underway in various stages, and I think you'll find today's information interesting and hopefully a bit enlightening. So, what's led schools to look for a new financial aid system? I think the answers are pretty consistent across the board. I think schools are looking for relief from some of the complexities on both the functional and the technical side, as well as some relief from some of the regulatory requirements. Plus, it's an opportunity to look and see what systems are out there and what's available in the cloud, which has everybody talking these days. So, to start with some of the functional complexities, let's talk about what it takes to manage and maintain the setup tables in Campus Solutions, for instance. Those tables are very complex to set up. It takes a lot of PeopleSoft knowledge and experience, as well as some financial aid experience. So when schools have turnover or have new person that joins a staff, understanding the setup and the dependencies and how everything works together in a fully integrated system with some of the other business areas, it becomes pretty complicated. I think there's also technical reasons why schools are looking at a new system. For instance, compiling COBOLs, managing servers, looking for PUM updates, and just all kinds of technical requirements are also adding some complexities to schools. Just the maintenance has become pretty big and pretty unruly. I think finally, schools are also interested in cloud. So schools are looking to see what's available, what's out there, and what cloud is all about and what it means. I think overall, in general, in addition to the functional, the technical requirements, schools are ultimately looking for a better way to serve students. They're interested in making sure that students are getting aid quickly, efficiently, accurately, and all those good things. Student success, student support is always ultimately number one, and why schools are looking for new systems and looking for ways to better improve their service to students. I'm often asked the question, in what ways am I finding schools finding Vocado student financial planning useful? I can think of a number of ways that I'd like to share with you today. The first one is that the configuration for SFP, the baseline configuration, is delivered and it's federally compliant. To me, that's a big one because schools no longer have to worry about whether they're selecting the right students for verification or if they've got their aggregate tables set up correctly with the correct loan amounts or award amounts. So having the system delivered and knowing that it's federally compliant is a great thing. I also think that You have the ability to change that setup and add some of your own flavor to it if you'd like, but all in all, the baseline configuration is delivered and it's federally compliant. That means your new AD setup and deployment is much easier. This time of year, you're probably getting ready with AD rollovers and adding new setup and testing. The nice thing with the baseline configuration is that new AD setup each year is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Of course, if you want to make some big changes, that's going to add to some of the time for your setup. But in general, taking your configuration from the prior year and merging it with the new delivered federally compliant baseline configuration is a pretty simple task. I think schools also find the automation very useful. The automation for ICERs with the Department of Education and COD, it's all no touch. It's all automated. There's no more downloading files, finding a place to store them, trying to remember if you uploaded that file or not, or making sure that those files are secure. The automation is there, it's built in, it's delivered, and it's automatic. I also think schools find the no-touch processing very useful. They use metadata. Now, of course, some schools may want to do some double checking just to build the confidence in the system, but an applicant can go from having their ICER loaded to being awarded without anybody ever having to touch it. That means getting awards to students much faster. And finally, I think schools find the requirement to do PUM testing and stay on a schedule with PUM testing and bringing that into the whole student system as a bit of a relief, because Oracle is going to deliver updates to SFP. However, they're not driven by dates like the PUM testing is. And a lot of people are already testing this for you because it's in the cloud. And so when you receive it, you don't need to test it because it's already been tested with the delivered baseline configuration. I think those are some of the main things that I hear schools are very excited about and find useful for SFP. The final question I'd like to address is, why should you begin your innovation journey to the cloud with SFP? I think it's important to know that Oracle Student Financial Planning is a key component of Oracle Student Cloud. SFP ensures regulatory compliance through system rules that are built into SFP. The automation that's delivered with baseline SFP allows your financial aid office more time to spend with students and less time spent on configuration, processing, testing, paperwork. I think it's also an indicator of the product when you look to see all the schools that have already begun this journey. So I encourage you to take a look at SFP, listen to the remainder part of our video with some details on some of the projects that we are already working on with schools, and learn just a little bit more about how SFP might be able to help you and your school as you look to start on an innovation cloud journey.
Hi, my name is Sierra-Cedar. I'm a senior financial aid consultant in Sierra-Cedar's Oracle Higher Education practice. I've been with Sierra-Cedar for 7 years and working with Oracle Higher Education products for 11 years. I'm currently part of the Oracle Student Financial Planning implementation at Princeton University, Rutgers University, and Florida A&M University. The schools that I'm working with have identified 3 key ways in which student financial planning can benefit their students. Student financial planning allows schools to produce financial aid packages more quickly and accurately with less manual intervention than in legacy student information systems. This provides students with accurate and timely information when they're making important enrollment decisions. Student financial planning also includes significant automated repackaging functionality, so as enrollment changes or program changes occur, the system can automatically update a student's financial aid award and give them a current picture of their eligibility. The second way in which student financial planning benefits students is through the streamlined and mobile responsive student portal. This portal is designed to guide students step by step through those actions needed to be taken to secure their financial aid award. It also provides the ability for students to upload documents related to verification and other financial aid processes through the student portal directly, reducing the need to email or fax sensitive data. Finally, it includes a student borrowing calculator to help guide the student through the acceptance of federal student loans. Both of those things allow schools more time and energy to focus on the core function of financial aid counseling, reducing the administrative effort involved in repackaging and packaging student financial aid, and allowing the students to guide themselves through the steps needed to secure that aid, mean that counselors can spend more time talking to students and helping them through the financial aid application process. How can your institution prepare to implement student financial planning? Step 1 is to understand your current state. If your policy and procedure manual is a little bit dusty, get it out, dust it off, make sure that all your current business processes and policies are well understood. Identify key stakeholders and subject matter experts in each area. Second, prepare an inventory of any existing reports, integrations, or communications that are a key part of your financial aid lifecycle. Third, be prepared to embrace best practice. Student financial planning comes with a set of baseline configuration that reflects best practice for federal verification. Finally, determine your criteria for success. Where can Oracle Student Financial Planning most help your financial aid office improve? What are your key goals for your implementation?
Hello, my name is Alexander Prendergast, and I'm a senior consultant with Sierra-Cedar's Oracle Higher Education practice. I have over 13 years experience in higher ed, 7 of those working directly with student financial planning. I'm currently assisting 4 of our clients with SFP implementations, where I'm a technical lead focused on integration, configuration, reporting, and security. I'm going to spend a minute talking to you about SFP's integration capabilities. SFP is a system of record for financial aid, and therefore requires integrations for other student information like biodemo, academic, or other maybe financial information. SFP allows information to flow into it in 2 different ways. One being the Vocado U.S. Department of Ed gateway, often referred to as the VUG, and this is the message kind of gateway of the federal files coming to and from the government. SFP also facilitates TD client for institutions. So any institution currently pulling down files manually from the government, it does that for you automatically. So that's a nice feature. The other way that institutions or students actually get information in or out of SFP is through something called the Message Processing Gateway, or we've often referred to as MPG. SFP is a REST-based interface with 2 primary message types. One being an event-driven, like outbound message, and the other being an asynchronous request-reply. So the event-driven ones actually are triggered by different events in SFP, creates an outbound message, and goes into a queue that can be absorbed. The request reply, an external system can make a request into SFP. SFP generates an outbound message, and it can be absorbed into that exterior system. One note about the outbound queue for event-driven, it is a first in, first out, so Oracle really recommends only one system be pulling from that, and the other systems be using the request reply message types. SFP also comes natively integrated with its own student portal, which acts also as its as a DMS, document management system. SFP can be configured with other portals or document management systems. It would just leverage the API messages that are appropriate for that. SFP is also natively integrated with PeopleSoft Campus Solutions 9.2, and but again, it can be integrated with other student information systems or CRMs. You would just be doing the data mapping for the expected integration messages, and all that information is documented on Oracle's site. Another area maybe to mention would be the notification framework. SFP can leverage PeopleSoft 3Cs, or institution can use SFP's outbound notification messages or write reports to get information out to facilitate their own communication platform, sending emails or other communications out. SFP tries to, in its delivered form, using its own portal, attempts to route students back to its portal to kind of work through the notifications there. Another area of SFP integration is SSO, and SFP utilizes SAML 2.0, and its model is that SFP is the service provider and the institution is the identity provider. Currently, the user to application is application role security is maintained by the client's identity management system, and that's the expectation currently. The role to permission configuration lives in SFP, but the assertion message that gets sent from the SSO should include the role to the user. We often get asked how much effort an IT department can expect during implementation of SFP and the maintenance after. IT departments can expect more of a front-loaded setup effort during the implementation phase of SFP. And this is because FA business groups are defining and refining their business processes, leveraging SFP configuration. There's also a learning curve with SFP, and typical with any new software, there might be re-asks or migrating to multiple environments and learning that maintenance. SFP being a cloud application, the maintenance though for the application code is actually no longer required by the institution's IT group. That's because application code is pushed from Oracle, being a cloud product. Therefore, an IT group along with the FA group will coordinate and review the new releases for any kind of updated or merging the configuration to support any updated or new features within that application release. So really, it's only really maintaining the configuration management aspect. Once SFP is initially implemented, the major times of year that the IT group may get involved is during new AD updates, which is usually the biggest kind of release by Oracle, and that's because new regulatory changes happen. Financial business offices may change the way they're doing their processing, so that is typically when IT groups are asked for the most effort. SCI has created and continues to create several implementation accelerators that actually can be used during the initial implementation and during the new AD or update maintenance processing. A few areas that I just want to mention that can impact levels of effort though are whether or not an institution is is using a native integration like from SFP to PeopleSoft Campus Solutions and the SFP portal, or if they plan on using building their own, they plan on building their own integrations to other systems, then that effort typically pulls in the IT groups. Whether or not a group is going to use baseline delivered configuration or make significant modifications to configuration. Modifications to configuration in SFP use a programming language called Groovy, very much similar to like a Java, but that takes a little bit of effort for someone to get used to and understand all the bindings and expectations of those scripts. Another area that can actually reduce effort in this maintenance of configuration is if a school has a version controlled file repository, something like a Git, that can kind of show the changes from one release configuration kind of release to the next from baseline, and if there's any modifications, and allows you to merge and maintain those. Schools can use things like a SharePoint or a file folder structure, but something that's a version controlled repository definitely helps reduce that effort.
How is SFP different? The biggest way SFP is different is it's in the cloud. And what does that mean? It means that somebody else is managing your systems and making sure that your systems are up and your systems are performing. That's a big relief for a lot of schools. In addition, SFP has a number of other benefits, such as real-time synchronization and reconciliation with the Department of Education. For instance, when you disperse aid to a student, SFP will automatically create the files that are required to go to the Department of Ed that will be used for reconciliation and you receiving your money. In addition, SFP works together with your other Oracle products. The integrations between Campus Solutions and SFP are delivered. So information that you normally would get and build in FA Term in Campus Solutions is built through integrations with your Campus Solutions system. And then, of course, the disbursements into your student financial system are also built and delivered with Oracle to go with SFP. And finally, the automation and the maintenance relief that you're provided, the regulatory relief that you're provided, allows you to spend more time with students, less time pushing paper and pushing processes.
Thank you all for listening in on our discussion today around student financial planning. Please, if you have any questions, our contact information is down below. You'll find Jill's and myself. We're here to help however we can from all of us within Sierra-Cedar. Thank you all so much. Take care.